So the first thing I'm going to discuss are the stats and how you make your metal stronger. So the first thing clearly is strength. The higher the strength, the higher damage it can output, and the higher things it can damage. The defense is supposed to lower the amount of damage you take, but it's basically worthless because everything can kill you in one hit. I've survived hits from a raid boss or from a Union Cross boss before, but I don't really think that is necessary. Now, how you make your metal stronger is, of course, you just power them up, and you can power them up through Chippendale metals. And these stats down here, these traits are super important. Now, you may notice that a metal has a higher amount of power. So this one's at 59,000 compared to Sleeping Beauty, which is at 6,000. 44,000. Now my Sleeping Beauty will do more damage to non-player enemies than this will. So if you ever have a metal that has higher power and it's not doing any damage to a foe, the reason is because of its traits. It doesn't have any minus defense traits. These things are super important. So important that you literally you'll just do 1 damage without them once you get to a certain point. The minus 70 is so much better than the minus 60 because the minus 60 will have a wall come up sooner where you'll only be doing 1 point of damage to your opponent compared to the 70. The 70 will let you go a lot further in the Coliseum when you're fighting basic enemies or even on the events. So when you make your metals, you need to consider 2 things. Is your set for PvE or PvP? Because my PvP set's completely different. One of my examples is this Xion metal here. Currently I'm using it for PvP, and I give it paralysis 2. It'll paralyze my opponents up to level 1,999. This is useless. That skill is useless for PvE because you're going to be fighting enemies well above that. The only purpose it has is to consistently paralyze your opponents in the Coliseum that are real players. And the reason why I want to do that is, 1, hopefully they won't be able to cure it, so they lose some attacks. But most consistently, to power this guy up. The power multiplier is the next thing you need to look at. This is extremely important for dealing damage. See, this is at 20.62. This metal is going to do a lot more damage than something with a less power output. So let's compare this to this metal here. This metal here has a power of 40,747. Its multiplier is only 15.64, or you know what I mean, 65. It can go up higher, but it's still under that 20. If you don't meet that variable, you'll get that lower amount. So let's say compared to this guy has a lower strength. He will have a higher damage output than this metal up here because of the multiplier, even though his total power is lower. So in consideration, basically you want super high strength with a really high multiplier. I will go into building a PvE set and a PvP set on another video. I just wanted to show everybody all the different traits and how they work. The last thing I want to talk about is the Supernovas. The Supernovas are meant primarily to power up your metals. How you have your metal set up is that the first 3 should be metals that are assisting your power hitters, your last 3 metals. Your last 3 metals are the ones that are going to do a lot of the damage. It's going to carry most of the weight. You can set up, you can try to make a setup where it's more neutral, but I don't advise it. Especially for raiding, you want metals that have Lux++ on them. You want those doing all your damage. So the idea is that early on, you'll cast all your Supernovas, because the Supernovas will power up your metals. So this supernova is specifically in power. Increases strength by 14,000. That's like the second highest amount right now. Blame my last. It is the highest amount right now. Once you use your supernovas, then you go through, use your metals for big hits. There's something else. Oh yeah. Let's just level up real quick. There are different types of powering up. There's the power metal strength. There's the speed metal strength. Oh, that's not a bad example. There we go. Speed metal strength. And that's just metal strength. Magic metal strength. The last one is just metal strength. Metal strength affects all types of metals. That's something you need to consider when you're creating your build. So if you're using a keyblade like this, you're going to want stuff that'll increase the metal strength of all your metals, just sheer metal strength, so that your 3 hitters will do as much damage as possible. And it'll keep building and building and building, making it stronger and stronger. Something like the treasure trove, I have things that increase power metal strength specifically, and that are extremely hard hitters. This guy, he works a little differently. But my point being is that all my metals are built to complement each other, making them stronger and stronger. One other thing, I suppose, is the skills. There are lots of different skills you can use. When you level up, these chip and dale metals here will increase the power and defense of your metals. Those are always good. This lowers the cost. I'm sure the game explained how that works. And then these metals here, defense boosts, are primarily PvP metals. Attack boosts, engage 0. Those can be used either or. Specifically, primarily used for PvP. The ones with Lux boost. I know I have 1 Lux boost left. Thought I did. Guess I don't. But the ones that give Lux boost are primarily for PvE, which is, not the Coliseum. But you can still use those, I still use these for PvE because they're just really, really, really good. So that wraps up this video. It's about 8 minutes long. So on the next video, I'll get into more on the lines of metal setup, specifically for PvE and then PvP.